were not able to visit this shrine, and it's only 4 kilometers from the border, but they had to see it through binoculars from the shrine on the other side of the border in India. So this has been a goodwill gesture from Prime Minister Imran Khan, who was dedicated to making this happen and to bring this about for the Sikh community, because this is one of the most holy shrines for the Sikh community. This is where their leader Baba Guru Nanak Ji spent the last 18 years of his life, and for them it holds a lot of importance. So we're going to be seeing the opening of this corridor tomorrow, and 10,000 people are expected to arrive for this opening tomorrow. Already they've started to flood in from all over the world, members of the Sikh community. They're coming from different parts of the world, and the Indian one specifically will be coming tomorrow with them. Renowned Indian actor Sunny Deol is expected to be arriving. Former Prime Minister of India Manmohan Singh will be arriving. Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh and Ministers Hardeep Puri and Harsimrat Kaur Badal will also be attending, and Congress lawmaker and former cricketer Navjot Singh Sidhu will also be attending the ceremony, and it will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Imran Khan. So we'll also be talking today on our program about an initiative made by the Islamabad Policy and Research Institute called the Margala Dialogue, where participants from countries within the region of South Asia, the Middle East and Central Asia are going to come together next week in Islamabad to discuss ways to improve the regional peace and security situation and to enhance economic development between these countries. So a very interesting dialogue indeed that should be. So we're going to begin talking to our guests today in the studio, and we'll begin with the Kartarpur corridor. We've got with us Dr. Asma Khwaja, who's an international affairs expert, and she's also authored the book recently called Shaking Hands with Clenched Fists. So let's speak with her about her knowledge on this topic. The Kartarpur corridor, Dr. Asma, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on our program. The Kartarpur corridor is very significant for the members of the Sikh community. You can see the emotion with which the pilgrims have already started arriving. The visitors of the Sikh faith have started coming from different parts of the country, and they're very emotional, and they're saying how they love the way they're being received and the warmth with which Pakistanis are receiving them. And tomorrow we expect to see the same sort of reception for these visitors from India as well, right?
Yeah, it is a great step in the history of South Asia and India-Pakistan bilateral relations. Pakistan being an important country of the region, allowed a very important minority of South Asia to fulfill their religious obligations and their religious things, and come and visit one of the most holiest, as you said, shrine for Sikh community. And I would like to appreciate the stance and the commitment by Pakistani government that against all odds, and whether that odd was the delaying tactics by the Indian government or Modi government, or by Modi government has created a very intense and volatile regional scenario recently, as you know, and then Pakistan tried its best and successfully did not try that this typical and purely a religious act should not be overshadowed by other hostile efforts by India, which India kept on against Pakistan. Whether these were, like, so much happened in last 1 year since the Kartarpur corridor was announced by the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Right, so
Imran
would
Khan.
you say that this has been a huge PR victory for Prime Minister Imran Khan as far as the Sikh community in India is concerned, who are a very large community? It's about 24 million, and they're at the moment they are so happy, they're jubilant that they're able to come here. Obviously, if Makkah or Medina was 4 kilometers from us and we were allowed to have visa-free entry, we would feel the same way. So it's understandable. Now you're seeing pictures of Prime Minister Imran Khan, posters of his in Amritsar, and then there are Pakistani flags waving in Jalandhar as well. So a lot of the people in India who are of the Sikh background are actually appreciating these efforts a lot.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. We should appreciate that Pakistan is able to win hearts and minds of people whose religious sentiments are attached with Kartarpur, and there is nothing wrong in it, because if for last 72 years we were unable to provide this facility to Sikh community, that was our fault. And it is great, we should appreciate that finally we realized that our India-Pakistan's hostile bilateral relations, for one reason or another, should not impact the common man, a common person from a minority, and for them it is really important to visit those religious sacred areas. And so we should appreciate that Pakistan expressed, demonstrated and executed such maturity that Pakistan fulfilled its promise.
And in a record amount of time. In a very short time.
And with excellent facilities.
Yes.
And because Pakistan has constructed a state-of-art Gurdwara there is a proper Gurdwara committee which is running the administrative staff, because in Sikh religion, all Gurdwaras are under a certain committee, and which they call Gurudwara Prabandhan committees, and so they are running the affairs under the supervision, facilitation, support, help of Pakistani government.
Right.
So and this Gurdwara is going to be the largest Gurdwara for Sikh community in the world.
So do you think there's a potential now for this to be extended to, say, Nankana Sahib? The pilgrims in some time in the future might be able to visit there, and other sites such as Hassan Abdal, Panja Sahib over there.
They are already visiting those places, but to visit those places they need visa. So it is, it is the only example in the whole world where two hostile countries who are not in good terms with each other, they manage to have such visa-free corridor for a specific religious minority. This is the only example in the world, and this shows that how keen Pakistan is to settle conflicts and disputes with India, but always, most of the time, unfortunately, we need two to tango. So India is not reciprocal to Pakistan's positive peace postures.
Prime Minister Imran Khan said when he took oath that if India takes one step forward, we'll take 10 steps forward.
Unfortunately, they are taking steps in the opposite direction, or in the reverse gear.
And in this particular case, there are all these conspiracy theories in India that the Sikh pilgrims who are going to arrive in Pakistan, they're going to somehow be brainwashed, and they're going to restart the Khalistan movement and things like that. There are all kinds of stories. There are writers and their media and all people are saying that, this is, for their national security, it's damaging or whatever. What's your opinion on that?
And this is really sad. This is extremely sad, because it happens in the past that whenever India has any problem with Pakistan, India, those Sikhs who were coming to Nankana Sahib and the Panja Sahib on visas, approved visas by Pakistani government, India used to stop them on the Wagah border, that, oh, we have this problem with Pakistan, so you cannot cross Wagah border, and we cannot allow you to go for the pilgrim or the visits of your sacred places. So India, it is not the first time. India is using animosity with Pakistan card to subjugate Sikh community and within India for like several decades for now. So now when they are coining all these things, I'm really, I would like to say that whenever any religious minority or ethnic minority is unhappy in a certain majoritarian system of governance, it means the fault and the root cause of the problem lies within the system of governance in which they are existing. So if Indian Sikh community is upset or they have any grievances vis-a-vis Indian government, it is their responsibility of Indian government to resolve those grievances.
Absolutely.
So they cannot, Pakistan cannot correct their governance. Pakistan cannot make India an inclusive society.
Right.
Pakistan cannot, recently, as you know, India revoked the Indian citizenship of famous British journalist Atish Taseer, who is son of a Sikh mother. And they revoked that citizenship under the notion that Atish Taseer wrote an article in Times which is critical of Modi government.
Right.
So if this is the freedom of expression and inclusiveness of a society, so problem lies within their structure of governance.
Absolutely.
So they should make their structure of governance more participatory, more inclusive, more corruption free, more class and religion free. That should be based on equal opportunities for everyone.
Absolutely.
They cannot shrug off their responsibility and point towards Pakistan that, oh, what Pakistan can do when Sikhs would come just like 1 day or 2 day, how Pakistan can instigate anything in them, where if Sikhs are very happy and like having their great time in Pakistan.
Right, exactly.
So it is Indian government's
Rather, I think-
responsibility to run the country in a manner that no one should feel deprived
Yes, I
or
think rather
left out of the system of
I
governance.
think their larger fear is probably that the Sikh community who's going to be visiting here and going back are going to, it's going to completely dispel the myth that Pakistan has any kinds of negative designs against India.
This is so important, because usually in the world, unfortunately for last at least more than 1 decade, they had perception of Pakistan, what Pakistan is being represented, how Pakistan is being represented in media. So that representation of Pakistan was not correct. That was not up to the mark. That was not even honest or empathetic. The international media and Indian media, while representing Pakistan, especially Indian media, they presented Pakistan as a threat to Indian sovereignty or Indian peace, which is extremely incorrect. So definitely it is, we say that if you want to know a country, visit that country.
Exactly.
If you want to know,
and also exchange of people and interaction.
So camera,
that's
we
what
should
matters.
be able, this opportunity to visit Kartarpur Sahib corridor and enjoy the hostility of great Pakistani nation would provide Sikhs an opportunity to see the reality beyond the lens of the camera. They would be able to come and meet their Pakistani, and I'm sure there were not much Pakistanis in Kartarpur Sahib, because Pakistani Sikh community itself is running the show, so that they would be able to meet Pakistani Sikhs. But that would be an excellent experience to see that how tolerant, how hospitable, and how loving Pakistani nation is.
Absolutely.
And if Indian government's fear is this, that their community would be able to see Pakistan beyond the lens of the camera, which the Indian government is trying to see it. I'm sure you know that Indian media lies in the last 10 countries when it comes to the freedom of media.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is good. Maybe it is their fear that people will know the reality.
Yes, so now Pakistan is allowing from 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening, 5,000 pilgrims per day. And the opening ceremony is going to have 10,000 Sikhs from all over the world, including India. Indian authorities have restricted that the pilgrims can only visit once in a year. They can't go again and again. Is this? I don't know if this is true or if it's
actually right now there are so many rumor mills working, and I was watching in Indian media on YouTube, and I saw like Indian media is creating an intense fog of disinformation when it comes to Kartarpur,
yes,
and they are coining so many information right, left, and center. So if as far as my knowledge is concerned, we have to read the agreement signed between Pakistan and India to see that what were the clauses and what is being allowed. So right now I'm not sure. I'm not sure that if there is a clause, but if there is no harm in it, because this would provide a chance of larger Sikh community to come and visit so India would not keep on sending same people after every 1 month.
Exactly.
So more Sikhs would have opportunity to come and do darshans of their the place of their Guru Nanak.
Fair enough. Okay, and then we've seen how the Congress leader Navjot Singh Sidhu, the problems he's had to face in order to come. Pakistan issued him the visa right away, and I think the invitation number for him was 001. He got the first invitation to visit for the Kartarpur opening, but he had to apply 3 times to the Home Ministry to be allowed, to given permission to come and visit for the Kartarpur opening. And finally he said, I'm going to go anyway, and then finally they gave the permission.
Yeah.
It was
I wrote it in my book as well, that unfortunately under Modi regime, peace constituencies in India are reducing. There were FIRs against Arundhati Rai for treason. There were FIRs against Manishankar Iyer. There were FIRs against Navjot Singh Sidhu. So anyone who talks about rationality, because peace is rational, animosity is irrational, because it is consuming so much of economic space and economic muscles. So anyone who speaks rationality and sense in India, so sane voices doesn't have public support under Modi regime, and they've been isolated. So this act is a manifestation of extreme insecurity within Modi government. And whatever, how the way they are subjugating their religious minorities, whether they are Kashmiris or they are Sikhs or they are other people from other races or other ethnic groups within India. So it reflects that how white supremacy has overshadowed all the sense of rationality, democracy and humanity for Modi
Yeah,
regime.
Hindu supremacy,
Yeah,
exactly.
because this Hindu supremacy is also based on Brahman supremacy, which is like white supremacy.
And recently I was just watching that they're trying to change the whole narrative about the Muslim heritage in India as well.
Exactly.
That the Taj Mahal was made
Exactly.
during Hindu rule time, and you know, in 1000
They are deleting
AD.
Tipu Sultan, chapter on Tipu Sultan from the school curriculum of Indian, and they think that this is how they will change the history. They will change the contributions of Muslim rulers for last more than 1000 years in India.
Exactly.
So they cannot.
To mislead their public.
They are misleading. Actually, they are creating their acceptance by creating a vacuum of information for their public and masses. And in that vacuum, they operate. And this Kartarpur Sahib corridor, again, would provide Sikh community to overcome and look beyond that vacuum, which has been created by Indian
Absolutely. So now, as far as Pakistan goes, this opening of the Kartarpur corridor, and then we've also had the opening groundbreaking for the Nankana Sahib University as well, which is, I mean, Baba Guru Nanak University in Nankana Sahib. I think this is a huge step because this is going to be open for Sikhs as well as all Pakistani students, etc., to study. For interfaith harmony, how important do you think that these moves and gestures are to open universities? Prime Minister Imran Khan also said at the different various dargahs and khanqahs, for example, Baba Farid's and in Pak Patan, etc., that the land that's owned around those, he wants to utilize them for universities and hospitals. How do you think this is going to improve the interfaith harmony between different religions in Pakistan?
See, interfaith harmony between different religions in Pakistan was always there. It is always there. Now, such acts, what they would do, they would create, they would support and facilitate an academic research on those things, and which is really important because when we want to...
Because we've seen hate crimes. We've seen that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
But those were exceptional. Largely people of Pakistan, like in universities, in other institutions, there are some incidents, there were some incidents, but largely people accept each other as they.
And they live
and that is
together,
why
yes.
Pakistanis have opened their arms for the Sikh brothers. And Pakistanis are supporting that they should come to Kartarpur and do their religious rituals. So I think this is a great step because it will help us to research, investigate, write great books on these commonalities in peace and conflict studies, because I'm a teacher. So we believe that if we want to improve relation, if we want to strengthen ties, you need to start with commonalities. And when it comes to Baba Guru Nanak, we can see his excellent relations in history with the Muslim saints, whether it was Bulle Shah or Hazrat Mian Mir. So we need to work and research on those connections. It is because we believe that if you want to live in history, you need to write excellent academic books related to those topics.
Absolutely.
So having those universities will generate research and aptitude, and definitely would strengthen interfaith harmony.
Absolutely.
It would provide a platform to demonstrate interfaith harmony.
Yes.
You would find it really encouraging that when that I was reading that Hazrat Mian Mir laid the foundation stone for a very I forgot the name, sorry, I think Nankana Sahib, or very important Sikh Gurdwara hundreds years back. And now the foundation stone of Kartarpur Sahib corridor also was laid by Governor Punjab of Pakistan, Chaudhry Muhammad Sarwar. So these are the commonalities between Muslims and Sikhs, and we should work and research. So after 100 years, if someone would write a book, he would say that the foundation stones were laid by Muslims for Sikh Gurdwara and this shows that how tolerant as a Pakistani nation we are, how acceptable and how flexible we are.
Yeah.
We are not, we are, alhamdulillah, trying to be an inclusive society. So
Yes, and I think in order to prevent conflict, as we've seen in the past at times, there have been times of intolerance, in Pakistan. To prevent that, more interaction between the different faiths is very important, which I think all this is going to really improve on. And also all the khankas and Baba Guru Nanak and all these great saints that we had, Baba Bulle Shah, and all the great saints, Nizamuddin Aulia Sahib in India, all of them were religiously inclusive. They included people of all faiths, and they catered to all of them. They fed all of them and advised all of them.
Even today at the langars or free food distributions at the Sufi shrines in Pakistan or Muslim Sufi shrines in Pakistan, even in Sikh shrines, no one asks you that what is your religion, then we will feed you. Food, health, shelter, water is for everyone regardless of race, religion or ethnicity, and that is so beautiful. And that is what makes a society.
We have right now with us online the Foreign Office spokesman Dr. Mohammed Faisal online with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Faisal, for joining us online. Dr. Faisal, are you with us? Okay, we're trying to regain the communication. Dr. Faisal, are you online with us? Thank you for joining us. Okay, thank you for joining us. I'd like to ask you now about the opening of Kartarpur corridor tomorrow, November 9th. Can you please tell us the sentiments of our people towards welcoming the Sikh pilgrims from India at the moment? There's a lot of excitement from the Pakistani side, almost as much as from the Indian side for the Sikh community.
Yes, you're right, there is, and the Prime Minister will be inaugurating tomorrow the function and the corridor. As you would be aware, the Prime Minister promised last year when he went to Kartarpur Sahib for the groundbreaking ceremony that it will be inaugurated in a year, and in a record time, in 11 months, it has been completed. And tomorrow we are expecting around 10 to 12,000 Sikhs and people from other religions who would be present at the Kartarpur Sahib, Baba Sahib place to offer their respects. Also, cabinet members, Governor, Punjab, other people will also be there. Mr. Sidhu is also coming from India, and he will also be present. So it is a big ceremony that is occurring in line with the vision of Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Islamic principles of dealing with the minorities.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us online, Dr. Mohammed Faisal. And Dr. Asma, thank you as well for joining us on our program. It was a very interesting discussion indeed, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon. After the break, viewers, we're going to be talking about the Margala dialogue, which is due to take place in the following week. And this is this is arranged by Islamabad Policy and Research Institute. It's a two-day event that's bringing together participants of different countries from the South Asian region, the Middle East and Central Asia. So please stay with us, and we'll be talking about that after the break.
1990s relegated Faisal Mosque to 4th place in terms of size. Architectural wonders of Pakistan.
Hello and welcome back. And now we're going to go on to our next segment about how next week Islamabad Policy Research Institute is to hold a two-day event called Margala Dialogue, which is going to include participants from various countries in the South Asia region, the Middle East, as well as Central Asia. And it's going to be a two-day event to discuss how to resolve the conflicts and the existing situation within this region, and also to bring about further peace and development between the different nations. So we're going to speak about this with the participants, and we're very fortunate to have with us the president of the Islamabad Policy Research Institute at the moment with us. He's Ambassador Vice Admiral Khan Hisham bin Siddiq, Hilal-e-Imtiaz Military. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And we also have with us Mr. Khurram Abbas, who's a coordinator with the Institute as well. Thank you as well for joining us. Sir, let's begin with the importance of such an event. I think it's very important at this time, at this period in time, to be holding such dialogues. Can you please tell us a bit about what you aim to deliver in this event?
Thank you for your invitation. I think Margala Dialogue is a pioneer initiative by Islamabad Policy Research Institute, and it comes at a time when the global geostrategic landscape is undergoing radical transformation.
Yes.
And with Pakistan in the midst of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Such dialogues and forums are being held worldwide for last so many years,
Yes.
Primarily to discuss security issue.
This is the first of its kind in Islamabad.
This is the first of its kind. Mm-hmm. It is intended to have this dialogue every year in Islamabad in a serial manner. This will be a track 1.5 initiative, and it aims to primarily discuss peace and development issues within three of the most happening regions of the world, and that is Central Asia, South Asia, and Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, Pakistan is at the pivot of this triad of regions, and we are calling this region as a whole a Sameka region.
Right.
So primarily issues related to peace and stability and economic integration for the shared prosperity and development of these three regions.
Great, and that's definitely the need of the hour. So, Khurram Abbas, now you're a coordinator in this entire effort. So, can you please tell us a bit about who are the participants going to be? Which parts of the world are they coming from? Because it's quite inclusive of many different countries.
Well, this is the uniqueness of this dialogue. As mentioned by the President IPRI, we have first time this kind of a dialogue in Islamabad. But this is the uniqueness of this dialogue as compared to the other dialogues in the region. Other dialogues such as Manama dialogue, Shangri-La dialogue, and also Tassam in Turkey, they are only focusing on one particular region. But this dialogue is basically comprehensively focusing on three regions, that is Central Asia, South Asia, and Middle East.
And you've coined a very interesting term, an acronym. Please tell us about that.
And this is basically, because everyone talks about a particular region. So the idea was about to coin this term behind that we have to go for inclusiveness. So in this Sameka region, there are 28 countries. And out of these 28 countries, first time, we have invited 16 scholars from different countries from 13 countries. And we look forward to enhance and expand this approach next year, and hopefully by next 2 or 3 years, you will see that all 28 countries of Sameka region will be coming and participating in Islamabad and Margala Dialogue.
Right. Okay. So, sir, I'd like to ask you this now. This region that you're talking about, it's lately facing many conflicts, and it's tends to get volatile, especially where the Middle East is concerned, South Asia is concerned. We're seeing all the different issues going on. So in your particular conflict, how is, in your conference, how is this conflict resolution dialogue going to take place?
Let me just highlight as to one of the major motivations for instituting this dialogue at this time is that the regional cooperation within the context of South Asia, the institutionalized mechanism has not worked very well. Therefore, I think with the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor coming up, it is in the larger interest and geostrategic interest of Pakistan to connect with Central Asia and connect with Middle East. We have religious affinity, we have cultural affinity, we have ancestors coming from these two regions. So I see future of Pakistan as a pivot to economic and political integration of Central Asia, South Asia, and Middle East.
Absolutely.
So the main objective of this dialogue is to provide a forum for free and frank discussion of not only the scholars, but also policymakers and experts and diplomats and officials alike to discuss threadbare some of the issues which we raised. You very rightly mentioned that unfortunately 2.3 billion people which inhabit this region are facing conflict and dispute for last so many years.
Yeah.
And most notably the dispute over Kashmir, Afghanistan dispute is into its 19 years, and Middle East is embroiled with number of active conflicts and strife. It is not possible to discuss the whole range of the issues that confront the Samika region.
Right.
So this year we are concentrating on conflict resolution, and primarily we'll talk about possible resolution of Kashmir and bring to fore these human sufferings which have been caused by the obduracy of Indian government and the human rights violation which continue to occur.
Right.
And we'll talk a bit about solution to Afghan issue and also Yemen.
Okay.
So one of the sessions is dedicated to conflict resolution, and we find that such forums which are formal and also afford informal discussions in a free and frank manner would help strategize plans and policies which are implementable, actionable by the various stakeholders, and so that the shared future of this region is prosperous and progressive.
Right. So one of the key factors in holding such a conference is that you have people-to-people interaction and then an exchange of ideas. Now, what would you like your participants to take back with them after this conference, and where would you expect it to lead? Will there be follow-ups afterwards to whatever was discussed?
Absolutely. As I said, that this will be track 1.5. For this year's dialogue, there are a number of ministries and federal ministers would be chairing those sessions, like the finance minister, the minister of technology would be chairing one of the sessions, and the whole government has supported this initiative of Islamabad Policy Research Institute. There are scholars, there are practitioners coming from Iran, from Russia, from the US, who will provide us the overall perspective with respect to, in one of the sessions is dedicated to geopolitics of this region.
Right.
Where we will try and assimilate and understand what are the global powers' interest in this region, and where does Pakistan fit in the overall scheme of
Right,
things.
because that is very important.
That is important. So we want to showcase Pakistan as the pivot, as the hub for connectivity, because of our huge geographical advantage which we have just on the northern shores of the Arabian Sea, with Gwadar port coming up. I think the future holds very bright and progressive and prosperous Pakistan, and this is the message which we want to give, that Pakistan stands for peace, stability, and interconnectivity through the economic integration, so that the future generations have a prosperous and peace and stability returns to this vital region, which holds the key to the entire word in fact, because this is the largest, this region boasts the largest natural potential which remains to be untapped.
Absolutely.
So hopefully through this dialogue we will have some tangible conclusions after deliberations and discussions by a number of experts which we have invited.
Okay, so there are international speakers, 15 international speakers. They're from different parts of the world, the United States, Russia, China, there's Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Malaysia, Maldives, Nepal, Romania and Kazakhstan. Conspicuously missing is India. Were they invited and didn't accept?
We have tried a lot to, and we have tried hard to invite different scholars from different, even academics and politicians from New Delhi. But the problem is that few people just regretted because they thought that they are going to have some kind of trouble from their government. And one lady, Archana Negi from Jawaharlal Nehru University, she agreed to participate, but due to the refusal by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of India, she could not participate in the conference. But overall, if we look at the participants and the speakers, you will find a very interesting mix of
very representative sort of,
interesting mix of speakers like
and from different industries and different
and speakers like for example, people who are actively participating in the negotiation process in different conflicts. For example, Miss Andrea, she is from Romania, but she is now currently serving as peace mediator for EU and NATO. And she has been working for the Hodeidah port truce between the Yemeni rebels and Saudi Arabia. So she is now, she knows how first-hand knowledge about the conflict of Yemen. And then we have other bureaucrats like Ambassador Jawad from Iran. And then we have a very renowned politician from Afghanistan, Ms. Fawzia Kufi. And so she knows about the political aspects of Afghan government. And so we have a very different kind of interesting mix who will, provide a very variety kind of situation that how people in the region think about different conflicts and how we can resolve them.
Okay, so sir, you're not just talking about regional politics and geostrategic situation, you're also talking about economic opportunities in the region. So can you please touch upon a little bit about what economic opportunities are there in this region, South Asia, Central Asia, Middle East? There's so many, especially in terms of energy in that sector.
Absolutely. I mean, the overall theme is partners in peace developing together. So the two fundamental pillars of peace and development. So in terms of peace, we going through the first one of the sessions is about conflict resolution. The second is about the geopolitics of this region. Day two is devoted to other challenges, the economic challenges and non-traditional challenges such like climate change. So two of the sessions dedicated for day two are, one is about economic integration, and in that we are talking about energy pipelines, we are talking about other mechanisms and platforms which could facilitate integration of the whole region within CPEC. We have Chinese rep, and the ambassador of China is likely to participate in the event. So therefore, we're talking about regional connectivity not only for energy but gas pipelines like TAPI and mega projects like TAPI, as I said, would also be focus of economic integration. And the last session is dedicated to climate change, because one of the major challenges which faced by this region is environmental degradation. It's a huge challenge.
And water management as
and
well.
Water management and water security ranks one of the highest priorities within the context of, and then weather patterns and flooding, and so this
and then you've
this
also
region
got
has
cybersecurity
and
there.
the last
all of these
and we
things
have
are,
a simultaneous
so
session which is dedicated to technology. This year we're talking about the cybersecurity aspect, and we have expert from Malaysia, we have expert from from the US and our own experts to talk about, and a number of discussants, because these are all contemporary issues and the issues with, which could be highlighted within the time available to us over a period of 2 days. And in the subsequent series, we will touch upon the whole range of issues, and we will formulate an agenda for the next year's dialogue, which will again, inshallah, be held in 2020
so it will,
in
inshallah,
November.
be annual now
It will be
this
an
one, right?
annual event and will cover the whole range of issues. This year's focus is mainly on Central Asia, and hopefully we'll continue to expand our geographical focus and accommodate whatever best we can within the 2 days which we plan to hold.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Admiral Siddique and Khurram Saab, and for telling us about this conference. And best of luck with your efforts to bring about greater cooperation and peace and development. That's all the time we have for today's program. And tomorrow we're all awaiting the opening of the Kartarpur corridor. Hopefully that should bring about a new era of good relations between the Sikh community in Pakistan and India, where they'll be coming and going. And it's a wonderful time for the people of the Sikh faith in India. There's 24 million of them over there, and also this also opens up how we have so much potential for religious tourism in Pakistan, and hopefully that will also increase greater understanding between faiths and people of this region. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Newsroom. That's bye-bye from me for now. I'm Sharmeen Ali, and from our team as well.